Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Growing up, and even today, I've always heard this phrase, you are what you eat. You are what you eat. Well, put that aside for a second, because you are what you think, which is even more powerful than that last statement. And your personality creates your reality. Everything that's going on in your life right now was your creation. Congratulations. That's a great job you did there. Or not. Maybe that wasn't what you were looking for, but you did create it. So we're going to talk about that today and how to properly create your life through hypnotherapy, and a lot more we got to talk about today. She is an amazing hypnotherapist, helps people all the time. Hania Wilkos is back with us. Welcome. How are you?
Great to be here.
This is powerful stuff that we're going to delve into, because I firmly believe in my journey figuring this stuff out, that what's going on here happens out here. Would you say the same?
Absolutely. What we think, we experience. What we think, we radiate. And that's how we see ourselves. That's how others see us. If we're uncomfortable in something, in some thoughts, in some clothing, in some situations, others are going to pick it up. It's not that they're psychic and they're going to see our thoughts. We generate energy of a certain emotion, insecurity or well-being, from being scared to being confident. So that's how we create. Our thoughts are extremely powerful. The words that we speak are very powerful, because as we know from the laws of the universe, the one that we know at least, that everything vibrates. Our words have the vibration. When we are happy, we vibrate highly. When we speak words like love, compassion, any beautiful word, the beautiful flower, and your eyes are shining to that flower because it's gorgeous, or newborn baby that it's laughing. These are high vibration, and this is the high thought. And then you're going to have fear, which is very low vibration, and you're going to attract fearful thoughts, fearful situations. You're going to watch the TV or listen to a podcast that it's going to make you afraid, because you're going to attract. The energy will match. The universe, as they say, whoever they are, it's going to match your vibration. So if you vibrate from, let's say, scale from 1 to 10, and you vibrate on neutral 5, then you're going to see neutral things. If you vibrate on high, you're going to see everything that it's high vibration, happy. You're going to turn the computer and YouTube, let's say, it's going to show you something happy. You're going to be depressed. You're going to be scared, angry. You're going to have to be, the vibration is going to have to be matched, and it's going to show you, the algorithm is going to show you what you vibrate. So basically, like they say, the world is your mirror. That's exactly what it is. And that's why I picked the Alex Gray painting, which is pretty old. He painted a long time ago. He's an excellent artist. And this is Earth. We are right here, and we're going there. So this is detox. We're going through detox. In order to clean something, you have to bring it into the surface. What do you want to clean? What do you want to get rid of? Which means transform or just get rid of. And what do you want to keep? So we are going through that detox, the detox of truth, which is could be very painful for some.
When you work with people in the detox of the mind, is it the detox of the subconscious?
Yes.
Okay.
Because subconscious is our brain. I see our physical body as a biological computer, that it's not going to run, it's not going to live until the soul enters. And soul, through the physical body and the nervous system, starts experiencing physicality. We know what the orange tastes like, otherwise we wouldn't. In the spirit, we wouldn't. We would see an orange, but we would not know how it tastes like. We would not know what it means to fall in love, what it means to grieve. And in the hypnosis, that's what I do. I make the person aware of its thoughts, feelings that support that thought, and then the outcome, which is the law of cause and effect. The effect is the outcome, but everything is inside of us. And every question that we have, it's inside of us. For the religious people, they would say, well, God said in the Bible or Torah that everything was already created, everything was made, that the job is finished. So in a way, it is. Because our soul has all the knowledge, all the information to create, to experience that it needs. If you remember in the previous podcast, we were talking about that we are the ocean in the drop, which means we are the light, that spark of creation in that one light. The entire universe, we are the entire universe in the soul. So it's the same thing. In the hypnosis, I will empower you. I will make you start believing in yourself, loving yourself, which is very difficult for many. People don't love themselves. And how they can be loved if they don't love themselves.
Well,
In order to...
That's like I guess the baseline for all of this. If you're not happy with you, others aren't going to be happy with you. You're not going to be happy with them because there's going to be an off balance of energy. How do you give love if you can't give it to yourself? And you have to figure that out to really figure that out. We can say those words and others might look at it and say, whatever. But that really is the reality that we need to accept.
Yes, my first teacher, I think she was the most influential. I read many books before and listened to lectures, but Louise Hay was amazing teacher. She said, take a mirror, look into your eyes and tell yourself, tell your name and say, Hania, I love you. I was sobbing. I didn't think it would be so difficult to love yourself. And I was sobbing. I had every single critical thought of myself before that word.
Yeah.
I come to the point, when you say it and you have that spark and you say, I love you, no matter how you look, no matter how you feel, you just tell yourself you love yourself. Because this is just a stepping stone, everything that is. And then we go to a spirit, and people who are afraid of dying, if they can see in a hypnosis how it's a basically transition, that is an opportunity to recreate yourself in a new life, in a new body. I had years ago, I had a lady that was a drug addict and then alcoholic. She really had a difficult challenges in her life. And we had few hypnosis. She just enjoyed it. And she was not afraid. She died young. She was not afraid of dying anymore. She was not afraid of anything anymore because she knew her power. She gained her power back. She stopped being a victim. She was also raped when she was a young girl.
Can we talk about fear? Because that is something that gets in the way because of the gunk up here that needs to be cleaned out. And fear is real, or is it?
Fear is in our thoughts. So fear is not real. We see something, and let's say you're in the dark and you see something moving in bushes, and your mind starts producing fearful thoughts that it's some kind of a wolf or tiger, depends where you are, some monster is going to come out, or alien, now it's so popular, alien invasion, and it's going to just come out of the bushes and it's going to whatever. And then you come closer and a little cat comes out of it and says meow. Your fear goes away and you say, oh, adrenaline drops, and then you say, oh my God, that was so scary. It was just darkness. So fear, we have 90 seconds of fear, and after 90 seconds that fear disappears. But because we have been programmed since childhood so well, we start producing thoughts and feeding that fear for another 90 seconds and another 90 seconds. And then we start thinking all kinds of thoughts, making movies in our mind. And if we don't stop ourselves, then it comes to the point when we start feeding the pictures in our mind, the fearful pictures, and it will manifest in our life on the same vibration. It might not be the exact imagination that you had, the pictures, but it's going to have the same vibration, depending on how much emotion you put into it, which is the fear. Fear is emotion. That's how fast it's going to manifest. So instead of manifest, which means create, instead of feeding ourselves with fear, why don't we just snap out of it? Remind yourself, I am the boss. The I am is not the mind. The I am is our soul, our spirit. And there is no soul, super soul, over soul, and whatever soul. There's no such a thing. There is only physical body, and there's our soul, our spirit. There is no other part of us anywhere. The only thing there is, from my experience in the hypnosis, we are connected to a pure source, pure consciousness from which we came. So fear is something that we keep either feeding or deprive of food, and it's going to naturally die.
I want to talk about the 90 seconds because I'm fixated on that, and I'm trying to apply it to times when I was fearing something, and I'm wondering back, a minute and a half went by. Was it done? And then did I attach more to it to extend it and keep it going? When we say the 90 seconds, if we didn't worry about it past that, would it just go away?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It
Is
would
it
just go away.
Is it a full 90, or it really depends on the level of fear?
No, it's just 90 seconds.
Interesting.
Because you see something that you're fearful, and then you start creating. After 90 seconds, you start creating. It's also 90 seconds is a good practice when you try to make something to come to fruition, and you're going to affirm something, do affirmation. Affirmation is something that you create yourself intentionally, and we affirm constantly. Every word is an affirmation, but when you create affirmation and you give it 90 seconds to it, you keep repeating for 90 seconds and concentrate on it for 90 seconds, it will manifest itself faster than if you just say for 60 seconds.
I got to remember that. And I think we all do, because if we can get past, am I hearing this right? If we get past the 90 seconds and wrap it up, we're going to be in great shape. And fear is going to be there no matter what. Let's say you're having a bad day at work, and then you think your fear is, I'm not meeting a quota. I'm probably going to lose my job. I'm not going to succeed at this job. And now you're thinking about it. And now a minute and a half has gone by. If you can just end it right there, you're good. But of course, and by the way, we've talked before, it's been proven, I think it's 93% now, every time this research is being done, 93% of the things that we worry about never take place. Literally wasting your energy, wasting your time.
That's right. Also, 90, there is a dispute on if it's 90 or 95% of our thoughts, our time in a daily life. So let's say 90%. We do things on autopilot. And only the 10% or the 5%, depends on where you want to be in it, we are conscious. Conscious means we are in our spirit, we're planning, we're doing something, okay? And consciously, we're consciously doing something. I think Eckhart Tolle, in one of his books, were saying, be conscious of what you're doing when you're driving a car. Be conscious of holding the wheel. Be conscious of stepping on the brake, on the gas, on your surroundings. Be conscious. And that's when you're conscious, you are empowering your soul and you becoming more aware of everything. And your mind, that biological computer, as I say, your brain, does not start running on old programs and feeding them. Let's say you see something on the road, and let's say somebody's talking on the phone and driving, and it's illegal, at least in Illinois. You start talking about that person in your mind and criticizing them, and you have no idea how long you've been thinking about it, and then other thoughts keep, that's the 90 seconds, and then it starts feeding and feeding other thoughts similar to it on the same vibration. And you get to the point where you were driving to, and I said, oh, how I got here? You parked your car, you don't even know when. It's the same thing with other things we do on autopilot. Let's say we cook a soup or dinner. It's something that we've done many times, so we just do it automatically. And then when you start thinking, say, did I put this in? Did I put that in? You already did, because your subconscious, which is your brain, already has the recipe. And it's doing it. And it's that with everything, even making love. If you are conscious, if you're present, if you, with your partner, truly making love, not just having sex, making love, you're going to be aware of every move of your body, the reaction of your nervous system, the breathing of your partner. And if you're really synchronized and both present in it, you're going to start breathing the same way. But you have to, in a way, practice being present in lovemaking, not just waiting and working on to get that orgasm. Because then it's just a sweaty activity.
Well, it's autopilot. Some people call that maintenance sex. But that's the autopilot, as opposed to really being present and syncing. And this is what synchronicity. This is what I'm getting from you, because you're synced up with that person at that moment, when done right, when done in the present. So I ask, if everything is autopilot, 95%, whatever, we're here talking about this. We've never talked about this before, so this is fresh. We've talked before on a podcast. You've done them before. I've done them before. So our exchange here, how much of that is autopilot? Because what we're talking about, we never talked about before.
Well, on my part is because I read a lot of books. I don't know much, but I have a lot of knowledge that I acquired, but I still don't know much compared to the amount of knowledge there is.
Sure.
And to me, it's just something that's in me. And if there's something new knowledge comes, new expression of certain knowledge comes, new wording, then I listen to it. And repetition is the key. If you want to achieve something, you have to keep repeating and repeating and repeating. And the same thing is with the programs. that we have already installed in ourselves since childhood to this day. And they're inside, we have to reprogram ourselves. That's where hypnosis comes. When, if you can do the very deep hypnosis, which I prefer, then you can see the outcomes, the circumstances, and all the situations that you were in and other people participating in it, how actually you all synchronized in a certain situation. That's how it came about. But if you in a let's say not so deep hypnosis, then I can just basically help you reprogram yourself, because I'm not the one programming yourself. Because if you are going to decide that you don't want to, that you don't believe that, then it will stay. I have no power over anybody. If I did, I would be a billionaire. In a hypnosis, I give you suggestion. And usually if it's a light hypnosis, I'll just tell you, I'll give you a hint and then say to finish that sentence. Like, I love myself because I would like to achieve that because. And so there are different kind of hypnosis. I prefer the very deep one because that's a scrubbing. That's a nice scrubbing. And then when the thought comes in and you were really understanding how it came about, when the thought comes in, then you say, okay, we've been there before. So you're going to react to something and the thoughts will come from your program, right? So the question is how long you're going to stay in that reaction, because we all react constantly. And then you're going to catch yourself, I've been too long here. I'm feeding my old program. So you're going to say, okay, cancel. I'm canceling. I'm removing that recycle beam, whatever, however you want to approach that. And then you have to reaffirm. You have to tell yourself a better lie about whatever you saw before.
I believe
you get lost.
I do what you're describing. And it's through hypnosis, the reprogramming of my mind. Because when I used to have a negative thought or just kind of a down thought, why is that way? Or this isn't the way I thought it was going to be today, or whatever it might be. I would marinate on it for a while. Like, 5 minutes later, come back in my mind thinking about it. Really? Now I have a thought. We all do. You can't just get rid of negative thoughts. It's impossible. But I find myself thinking about something and it's like, I'm done. Like in 10 seconds. All right. On to something else. And I think that is what we're talking about here, because I've experienced it. The one thing I am going to look for is the 90-second fear situation, and be mindful of that when it's a real fear that kicks in, and see if it goes for those 90 seconds. I almost think that I don't even have that long when I wrestle with a fear, because of the reprogramming. I really do. Different now.
Well, right. We get lost in it, just like now our podcast is almost ending, and it went like that.
Absolutely.
I will be recording, because there's so many subjects we can talk about. We create also our sicknesses. 90%, 95% of our illnesses we create, because it's a flu season. Never heard of it before. It's a depression. There is no such a thing as a depression. There are depressive thoughts. So 90 seconds. Same thing. So I will be recording videos and posting them on Facebook, posting them on my YouTube channel, which is under construction, a new channel. So I will have videos that I will be posting and explaining how things are happening, and also giving the listeners, whoever would like to change their mind, their life and their mind, also reading materials from people that researched probably more than I did, and put that in paper so we can read and we can practice. And there's so many absolutely outstanding individuals there. And there are, right now, we have that freedom and opportunity to watch them for free on YouTube and other platforms. When I was learning, everything needed to be paid for. The book, the lectures, Now everything is so available. When student is ready, teacher will appear.
I always hear that.
Mhm.
And as you're saying it, you need to dedicate your time to it. And I think that's all part of it too, because a lot of us would just be doing it, but we need to have that dedication and realize this is important. And if you're not doing it, maybe you're not ready, and the teacher
That's true.
will show up. How do we find you? What's the best way?
hwilkos.com is my website. All the information is there. I'm also on Facebook. If you Google my name, Hania Wilkos, sometimes it shows Hania Eva Wilkos, depends. But if you put Hania Wilkos, you will find me. You can call me on the phone. All the information is on my website and on Facebook and probably other.
Hania, by the way,
platform.
spelled Hania. And I have to say, it has been refreshing talking with you, and just the nuggets of info every time we get together is just amazing. And just, it's more for you to think about. But and again, what are you doing? You're being mindful when you're thinking now, like the 90-second thing. I'm going to be all over that. And especially the personality creates the reality. We're doing it. Be aware. Your thoughts are who you are and what's to come in your life. Do you want that coming your way? I don't think we realize that, but thank you for bringing all of us to light. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you so much for the podcast. Thank you for the listeners. Thank you. I am so grateful.
Yeah, we have a great life to live. Just start thinking that way. I think that's it. All right, Hania. I'm sure at some point we'll catch up again soon.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.